Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a truly insane timeline. Not only did Demon Slayer Infinity Castle absolutely steal the hearts of countless people around the world, but it made absolute bank. And here in the United States, this movie has become the highest grossing international film in box office history here in the good old US of A. Let me raise you one further. It surpassed Marvel and DC. That in and of itself is an insane prospect to think about. But yeah, this movie has captivated the hearts and imaginations of audiences everywhere. Hello everybody, GamingOtakuGeek here, and I just wanted to take a moment to really just let this all sink in and just really marvel. Haha, see what I did there? A pun. I can't really make that work for DC because you can't really effectively make a pun. Okay, you know what? I'm rambling at this point. I'm sorry. To truly marvel at the success that this film has had and what it means for anime in general. So, to put this in brief context, anime is a medium, an art form of entertainment that has truly made grand strides here in the West. Before anime blew up in the mid-2010s, it was actually pretty niche here in the US. Dubs were very rare, and when a series would get dubbed, it would take upwards of 6 months to a whole year before we would see a series in English. Couple that with hard-to-find video cassettes, DVDs, and merch, it was actually really hard to be able to find the series that you loved or anything relating to them. But at the very least, we had Toonami, which would air quite a few of the popular series in Japan, and that is honestly how we got exposure of the medium here in the West. Because I know that at least from my part, around 2009, that's when I would catch reruns of Inuyasha, and that is the anime that made me fall in love with anime. So the fact that I was able to watch that in 2009 and be enthralled, I remember that I would wake up 6 a.m. on Sundays to catch an hour block of Inuyasha. God, it's just, I'm thinking right now, I'm thinking about it, it's, God, the nostalgia. And Fukai Mori being played by Dua's Infinity for the Sesshomaru ending sequence. I mean, you all know which one it is. You know which one I'm talking about. But I won't put the music because, copyright, and I don't want my video getting taken down. So just imagine it in your minds. I'm going to put the image right here. See, right here. Imagine it. You know what? It's one of those things where you see it and it's like pictures that you can hear. Yes, that. And now, fast forwarding to 2025, anime is more accessible than ever, with Netflix and Hulu having shows, and then with Crunchyroll being a dedicated service to anime overall. Funimation also used to be a part of the spectrum, but they got acquired by Crunchyroll and Sony, so, now it's all merged into one big sphere, so to say. And then there's also High Dive, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head, I know that there's a whole other bunch of streaming services that stream anime. The exposure of this medium in the West has reached the mainstream to a point that now even people who are just casuals know of quite a few shows. And then conventions, you see more people than ever cosplaying anime characters. And then merch is so easy to come by now, and honestly, it's such a beautiful thing to see. With all that out of the way, let us talk about Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, which, honestly, is pretty much one of the most successful anime movies of all time. What's absolutely wild to me is that this is the first in a trilogy that is set to end the series, as this covers the entirety of the Infinity Castle arc of the manga. And of course, obviously, we know that established fans of the franchise all flock to movie theaters to watch it, but also in equal measure are first-timers or just people who were drawn to the film off of the trailers and word of mouth and the beautiful animation. And the fact of the matter is that a movie that is already deeply entrenched in its story, that is so far in that it is basically in its finale and people are flocking to see it, it just goes to show the staying power of anime and how some series in particular, as is the case with Demon Slayer, are able to, transcend. And of course, this is a movie that indeed requires you to do your homework to be caught up to the story. But at the same time, if this is your entry level into Demon Slayer, it'll encourage you to want to check out the rest of the show. And the fact that this movie is able to walk the fine line between established fans and newcomers is an impressive feat in and of itself. Now, to reiterate, Infinity Castle has surpassed Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon as the highest-grossing non-English international film of all time in the North American market at $128.6 million. That is impressive. And especially when you consider that this is an anime film, the fact that it's gotten this much traction is insane. But at the same time, it shouldn't come as a surprise, because Mugen Train, when it came out during the pandemic, made, I believe, around $500 million? And that was impressive even then because of the pandemic going on. One could argue that if the pandemic was not a factor, it could have made just as much money as Infinity Castle has currently made, or maybe even more. But that aside though, let's take a deeper look into this. So as we've already established, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was surpassed by Infinity Castle. But what's also cool is that it managed to do the same to Spirited Away, Your Name, and Suzume to become the highest grossing anime film here stateside. It also surpassed Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which is the final installment of the Mission Impossible franchise, unless, of course, they do another sequel down the line or a reboot, but that's beside the point. But what's also insane is the fact that Infinity Castle took on Marvel and DC and won. To be able to say that an anime film surpassed two major blockbusters in the superhero genre is an absolute wild statement. And what is even crazier is that Demon Slayer ranks 5th on the top 10 movies of 2025. And as you can see, Superman is ranked at number 8 with $616 million. And the Fantastic Four: First Steps ranks at number 10 with $520 million. A very, very impressive feat. It just goes to show how far anime has come as a medium and how mainstream it has become. What's even crazier is that this movie's box office earnings are not done. Oh no, far from it, because it is still yet to release in China. At the time of this video publishing, the movie is set to release, or at least supposed to release, on November 14th in China. And keep in mind, China is the second biggest box office in the world, right after the United States. So when this releases over there, odds are that the total box office haul for this movie could reach to 900 million, hell, maybe even $1 billion. And I don't think any other anime movie has reached that milestone as of yet that I can recall. And again, this is only the first part of a trilogy. The first. We still have 2 more movies to cover the rest of the Infinity Castle arc. We got part 2 coming in 2027 and part 3 coming in 2029. And with Demon Slayer having the chokehold it currently has on pop culture, rest assured that these next 2 movies are probably going to cross the $1 billion mark or come very, very, very close to it. All this to say, the future of the anime industry is looking brighter than ever before, and there's nowhere to go but up from here. And with how successful Demon Slayer has been in cinemas, I feel this is only going to encourage and embolden other studios to release major arcs of their shows in movie form, so that they can be able to get a slice of the pie, as it were. Just like how MAPPA released Chainsaw Man: The Reze arc recently, which I watched and I absolutely adored. It was fantastic and beautifully animated. And I believe this month, Jujutsu Kaisen: The Culling Game is going to release. Well, I mean, it's going to show the last couple of episodes of the Shibuya incident, if I'm not mistaken, and then show the first little bit of the Culling Game, which is like the next arc in Jujutsu Kaisen. So the fact that that's also getting a theatrical release is pretty wild. So it's like back to back to back. It is insane, to say the least. And as time goes on, this is only going to pique the curiosity of people outside of the anime sphere, and they will be encouraged to check out the medium. And that is honestly an exciting prospect in and of itself. But yeah, I'm just excited as hell to see the remaining 2 installments of this trilogy, because this first installment was absolutely bonkers. But anyways, what do you think of Infinity Castle's success? Are you happy for it? Are you disgruntled by it? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, this has been Gaming Otaku Geek, signing out.